Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at an aquatic specimen, the Cyclops, or a copepod, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into it. To start off, a Cyclops is a crustacean, meaning it's an aquatic animal similar to a crab. Unlike a crab though, it's extremely small and barely visible to the human eye. It is only about 0.5 or 5 millimeters long, so it's about the size of a grain of sand. But luckily today, we're going to be able to see it up close in the microscope. So here is the Cyclops under the microscope. This is the lowest magnification, and as we move up in magnification, you'll be able to see more of its structures. But right now you can clearly see its body structure. It isn't just a little red dot on a slide anymore. We can see a tail and arms and a body, of course. But let's get closer to it. So before we move on, let's take a look at its back, or its exoskeleton. You can see it sort of resembles a little staircase with the way it's built. These are actually the segments of its exoskeleton, and it is similar to the exoskeleton of a lobster. So most crustaceans will have this type of exoskeleton, and this is one way you can identify them. So why is this creature called the Cyclops? Look at the picture I've just put up. This is the Greek mythological Cyclops. It is a giant creature with one eye on its forehead. Keep in mind that it only has one eye. Now look at the Cyclops Copepod on the screen. What do you notice? On the top of its head where its antennae are attached, there is a little red spot. This little red spot is actually an eye, and this is where it got the name Cyclops from. Derived from the Greek mythological creature, because it only has one red eye on the top of its head. So you already know that Cyclops are crustaceans and copepods, but let's go a little deeper into its classification. They are known as something called invertebrates. Invertebrates are creatures that lack a backbone, and from this invertebrate classification comes the term arthropod. Cyclops are arthropods because they have segmented backs. Arthropod is a term given to most crustaceans because they are all invertebrates. Like I've mentioned, Cyclops are only about 0.5 or 5 millimeters long. They are very small. So if that's the case, then what are they eating? They're certainly not eating any big fish, like goldfish or salmon. Those are way too big for them. Well, Cyclops actually feed on small pieces of algae and bacteria. Their method of feeding is called filter feeding. A big example of filter feeders is the whale shark. So how does filter feeding work? Well, the organism that filter feeds has a filter in its mouth or near its mouth, and it uses this filter to filter out water and let in food. So the organism will open its mouth and swim around or stay in place, and then the microorganisms or the food that it wants to eat will likely swim or fall into the mouth, and then they'll be filtered out from the water and digested, eaten. So that's how filter feeding works, and that's how Cyclops get their food. So let's end the video off by talking about how the Cyclops moves. It uses a combination of its tail and its arms to propel through the water. You can see images of the tail and the arms in the screen. So it'll cycle between powering through the water and just sort of resting it, freely floating among the water. So this cycle will give its movement a very random and erratic look. But this is how it'll move around in the water. So this is the end of the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Most of the microscope images were actually taken by me on my own microscope. So if you have any suggestions on what other organisms I should look at and maybe talk about in future videos, please leave them down below in the comments or in my email. I won't mind. I'll look at the emails or the comments, and I'll see if I can get those videos done. But thanks for watching. Have a good day.